Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and we got the final sneak peek for the February update, and it is the tier 3 character, and it is Winter Soldier. And guys, I've been trying to give you this hint for over a year now that we were going to get Winter Soldier. That's why I've been growing out my hair, guys, because obviously I am going to cosplay as tier 3 Winter Soldier for Netmarble in this upcoming update. So catch me at the live stream tomorrow in LA. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, let's check out what the sneak peek is. We already know what the answer is, but let's just read on for what they have to say. Many characters have started preparing due to a rise in villain activities, referring to, you know, Red Skull, Crossbones, Zemo, Viper, Taskmaster. In preparation for the showdown, this is the perfect moment to call on a powerful individual who has tangled with Hydra in the past. And so that's pretty good connection. You know, there's quite a few heroes that have connections to Hydra, and I think that Winter Soldier, I mean, they could have given us tier 3 Spider-Woman, but I think that Winter Soldier is a decent choice if that was the theme, specifically Hydra. A new soldier is ready for battle, and we'll take a look at the sneak peek in a second. He's arrived with his soldier's bravery and great combat skills, even though he's a speed type. This long-awaited last sneak peek, more details will be posted soon. So the more details that are going to be posted soon would be the Facebook live stream. So just to give you guys a recap of all the information yet to come, there's going to be nothing today on Wednesday. There should be, you know, no announcements. Then on Thursday, February 6th, there will be a Facebook live stream. You can watch it on Facebook and get some rewards, or even better, you can watch it on twitch.tv/Cynicalex with me and the gang being a lot of people, and we will have lots of fun and laughs and insight onto what's going on in the live stream, what they show, and sort of espousing on that. And then hopefully sometime at night on February 7th, or possibly early in the morning on February 8th, I will get the APK, and I'll be able to start making videos and content for that, and so will all of the other creators. So then you will have a very, very good idea of what to expect in the update, because you'll be able to see the update second hand. Now, on to the actual sneak peek. Let's take it out here because it's actually very cool. Okay, so this is what a tier 3 sneak peek looks like. And I love the art style that they went ahead with on this sneak peek because it's different than anything we've seen, I think, ever. It's very comic booky. It's very, you know, stylized. We see exactly 3 bullets fall out of his chopper, his machine gun there. And then we see 3 bullets, and then we see the T3 on Winter Soldier. So they did a really, really good job. Hyper stylized, very anime. I really like this tier 3. I got to give it up to them. They did an excellent job. Now, let's talk about what tier 3 Winter Soldier could mean. I'm gonna give you the pros, and then I'm gonna give you the cons for a tier 3 Winter Soldier, and then I will give you my overall reaction for him. So, what are the pros of a tier 3 Winter Soldier? Well, I saw this posted elsewhere, but you know, Winter Soldier getting a tier 3, he's actually the first 800 cost speed tier 3 since Luna Snow. We're actually one behind if you compare Blast, Combat, and Speed. Blast has 6, Combat has 7, but Speed only had 5 tier 3s. We'll get to the cons later, don't worry. But Speed only having 5 tier 3s, they needed to add another one. On top of the fact that if you look at the 5 tier 3s that we currently have, Deadpool and Quicksilver are both 1.5 times cost, and they're native tier 2, so they're expensive, harder to get, slower to get. Luna Snow, although she's given away now more easily as a tier 2, at least for now with the agent training, she's a paywall tier 3. So you basically only have Ant-Man and Spider-Man, and they were both released right when tier 3s first came out in 2018. So it's been a while. It's been over a year since we've had a regular free-to-play 800 cost tier 3 speed type. So that is important for players that want something like that don't have Luna Snow tier 3, that don't have Deadpool tier 3, that don't have Quicksilver tier 3. Additionally, with the dominance of blast types in PvP, having another strong speed tier 3, especially one like Winter Soldier who can, if he keeps the ability, who can iframe ignore with his 4th skill, the sharpshooter buff giving him ignore targeting, he could become a really good free-to-play 800 CCF counter PvP option against characters like Jean Grey and Doctor Strange. Now, we already have Ant-Man for that. Quicksilver's also really good. Deadpool's even pretty good. But it doesn't hurt to have another option, especially since Ant-Man is the only one of those 3 that I just mentioned that's 800 cost in terms of CCF. Another pro to Winter Soldier getting his tier 3 is that a lot of people like Winter Soldier. Just straight up, he's a popular character, and so players will be happy with that. And I think a lot of players are still playing from when Infinity War dropped, and they joined around Infinity War, and they were so happy to see the kind of buff that he got to illustrate his power in the movie. So they want to sort of relive that again. Additionally, looking at the sneak peek itself, there is a possibility that Winter Soldier gets a uniform. This doesn't look like any of his existing outfits in the game. He's back to wearing the mask. He's got more of like he almost looks like a character from a fighting game. He's got like a white shirt underneath, and he's got a blazer or some sort of coat over top with these like images and colors and symbols and stuff like that. So it's possible that he gets a uniform. Now, whether he is a villain or a hero in this uniform is up for debate, but at the very least, with a new uniform, they could alter some of his skills. I would love for them to give him a little bit more survivability. Survivability has always been my main problem with Winter Soldier, and the fact that you basically want to combo his only skill that gives him any sort of protection with his iframe skills, and that sort of doesn't work well. It's kind of anti-synergy. It's clunky. So maybe they could fix him a little bit. He's not a bad character by any means, but they could make him a bit more smoother to play. They could make him a little bit more, efficient and sort of functional to play, rather than being this character that has a very tight rotation where it's like 5, and then you got to wait for the grenades to throw up, and then you have to cancel into 4, and you got to get it just right, otherwise the damage is garbage. So I don't really like that. Hopefully they can do something for him like they did for, fixing Lady Deadpool with Holiday Deadpool, and what they've done for other characters to smooth out their rotations when originally they were kind of clunky to play with. Like, they fixed Captain America's rotation, yada, 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 so on and so forth. So we'll have to wait and see, but there's a possibility that he gets a uniform, and then there's a smaller possibility, if he gets a uniform, that he would be turned into a villain. The last pro that I have for tier 3 Winter Soldier is that the sneak peek just looks dope. I gotta say, as much as I don't really like this tier 3, it's a dope tier 3. This is a dope tier 3 sneak peek. So those are all the pros for tier 3 Winter Soldier. I think I've hit on all of them. Now let's talk about the cons for tier 3 Winter Soldier. And before we get into the cons, I want to be very upfront with you guys. I am trying to be impartial here, but my personal reaction to and my personal opinion on the Winter Soldier tier 3 is about 60% disappointment and 40% nonchalance. 40% of me is just kind of like, whatever. It's not a tier 3 for me. I'll still get it, but I'm not going to be too hyped about it. But the 60% disappointment doesn't come from him being a bad character. The 60% disappointment comes from the fact that we're not getting a Universal tier 3. We're probably not getting, although I can't know for sure, but we're probably not getting a villain tier 3, and this is kind of a villain update. And then my other 60% of the disappointment is coming from the fact that Winter Soldier is a good character. I mean, he's not Omega tier. He's not Quicksilver. He's not, he's not some of these stronger speed characters. But he's really not that bad. He's one of the best tier 2 speed characters right now. So it would be like if they gave Spider-Man 2099 a tier 3. He really doesn't need it. And there's so many other speed characters that could have gotten a tier 3 that needed a lot more. Like they could have reworked and buffed up Squirrel Girl. They could have given Yondu a tier 3. There's like so many characters here that are garbage that they could have given a tier 3 to, and it would have made just as much sense, if not more. Maybe not from the angle of Hydra, but still, like, if we're really going to be that closely linked to the comics, you better buff a lot of bad characters, okay? Marvel Future Fight, if you're going to start hiding, and you're going to start using the excuse of characters being as strong as they are in the comics, you got a lot of damn work to do. You guys are way behind if you're going to start talking about comics, and you guys are going to start referencing the comics and how strong characters are compared to the comics. Y'all are in big trouble. Don't play that card, because you're not going to win. It's going to be a losing battle for a long time. So, yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed, but let's look at the actual legitimate cons for Winter Soldier as a tier 3. So, I already mentioned it, but I will mention it again. It's not a Universal tier 3. Still, to this point, we only have 3 Universal tier 3s. We got one last year at this time, which was Captain Marvel. So now we are close to 1 year. We're not quite there yet, but in April, for the 5-year anniversary, we will hit 1 full year without a single Universal tier 3. That's a really long time to not have any Universal tier 3s in the game. I mean, players have been saving their Universal Titan records for like almost a year now. Like, it's completely ridiculous. And Netmarble really needs to address this, because it's just silly. You're devaluing one of your World Boss Ultimate fights in Ebony Maw by never releasing characters that actually use these items. Like, I'm not really sure what the devs are thinking. Where's the roadmap for this game at? Because you guys are clearly not recognizing what needs to be done in your game, not only when it comes to game modes, but also when it comes to character balancing and releasing characters in a fashion where, you know, you don't have to have back-to-back-to-back universal tier 3s, but like, you guys are not showing a lot of foresight for these decisions other than for money. Because, you know, why do we have 3 blast tier 3s in 4 updates? Why did we have 2 back-to-back combat tier 3s? I can't really think of any answers to those questions besides more money. And now this speed thing just makes no sense, because this is not a money move. It's a Hydra move. Sure, it's thematic, whatever. But come on, guys, like, whatever. You could have given us any universal, and I think a lot of players would have been happy. So yeah, that one is that's a little bit lame. That one stings a little bit. Another issue I have is that if Winter Soldier is getting a uniform now, there's a strong possibility, if we're getting an update for the Disney Plus show in August, Winter Soldier and the Falcon, he could get another uniform in August. So this is another situation where players are unhappy, or might be unhappy, with the idea of the prospect of Marvel Future Fight releasing multiple uniforms for the same character in the same year. This shit has got to stop. It was never a good idea. Do not start doing it. You did it with Deadpool. You gave him 3 uniforms in 1 year. Do not do this to Winter Soldier. So what does that mean? Either Bucky's not getting a uniform now because the the profile icon wasn't data mined in the Netmarble thing posted on the forums, or it's not going to be a synergy uniform from now until August. So it just creates kind of an awkward situation, and then a lot of people are just looking at the Winter Soldier and Falcon show and being like, so what's going to happen to that show? Are we going to get Falcon tier 3 for that one? Really? Another problem is that, like, why didn't they wait until August to give us a tier 3 for both Falcon and Winter Soldier? Was that never an option? Was that not something that they considered? Another issue, another con of this tier 3 is that we know that we're most likely getting Black Widow tier 3 for her May movie, right? I mean, she's getting her own movie. There's probably going to be coverage of it for the game. Every character that's had their own standalone movie, Black Panther wasn't tier 3 yet, but you know what I mean? When there's a movie out for a character, they get a tier 3. That's kind of how it works. So we're going to get another speed tier 3 in a few months. I mean, you know, like, the road mapping just doesn't seem to be very well thought out. Whoever's doing the road mapping for this game, you need to seriously, like, look at the game. You need to pay attention to who's in the game and where the game is going. It doesn't seem to be very forward thinking. And then the last critique I have is that, Winter Soldier's probably not a villain. There's a very, very slim chance that he's a villain, which kind of ruins the theme of the update being a villain update, because if Winter Soldier gets a really good upgrade for his tier 3, then a lot of the attention is going to be on him. I mean, the attention will still be on other characters if, Red Skull gets a huge rework and Crossbones gets a huge rework, and that's great. But you could have had a slam dunk if you also reworked another villain on top of all of the villains that you're reworking or introducing. Like, if you had given Ultron a tier 3 and reworked him and made him amazing and given him a tier 3, man, we would be so happy. I would throw tons of money at this. But now I'm just like, yeah, I guess. Winter Soldier, sure. Another hero getting a tier 3. Yeah, we definitely need more hero tier 3s. Oh, yeah. How many villain tier 3s do we have? Oh, we have 4? Okay, and one of them's a unit. Well, we have 5, but 2 of them are uniforms, so that doesn't really count. How many pure villains do we have? Oh, 3. Oh, I see. Okay, and one of them's universal. Oh, okay. Okay, nice. Yeah, I don't know. So that's just what I think. We need speed villains. So I thought it would be a perfect idea to introduce a speed villain who's also tier 3able. Crazy idea. Who knew? Anyways, those are my thoughts overall on the Winter Soldier tier 3 announcement. Let me know what you guys think. If you're hype or you're not hype, let me know if you're going to be tuning in for that Facebook live stream. I will see you guys in the next one, and I'll see you there on Thursday. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.